When I was 4 years old, I was sexually abused by a family member who he told me if I told my parents that I would be the one that was getting in trouble and not him. And so even though it only happened just a few times, the effects of that carried on with me for a lot of years. My parents, they grew up in church, but we never really went to church. They had 6 kids, and so by the time the youngest ones came along, they didn't go to church. And so the only times I ever really went to church would be like when a friend invited me to church, and that was usually later in life, junior high, high school. But I always felt a lot of anxiety about going to church because I always felt like only the good people go to church, and I didn't really feel like I fit into that idea of what good people look like, because I had this shameful secret that I carried around that I felt like it was my fault. When I was 17, I met a guy who was a preacher's son. I felt like if I was with him, maybe I could be clean. And so we got married. We had a son. A requirement of his, because he was a preacher's son, is that he wanted me to be saved. And so I said the prayer. I went through the motions. We didn't stay married. We got married for all the wrong reasons, and I had a lot of insecurities and things that I was going through because of my sexual abuse. So, that carried on through a lot of things in my life that I just never felt like I could find anybody who was going to love me for me instead of what I could give to them. And I never felt like God would be somebody that could ever love me. After a lot of bad relationships, I did pray, if there's somebody out there, you're going to have to bring him to me, because I'm not looking anymore. I'm done with all that. And soon after, my husband Randy came to apply for a job in our family business. I guess he'd been there a short time when we had a conversation about being Christian. So I said the prayer, and I was married to a preacher's son, and so I'm a Christian. He grew up in church. He had been in church his entire life, and so it was important to him. So we went to church, and it became important to me to come forward and become saved for real this time. The sermon that day was about, making that commitment and making it public, and so I wanted to make that commitment and make it public. I feel like God truly put us together because he knew that Randy had a strong enough faith and patience that he could stick with me through what I was going through. Once I got saved, God started working things in me that helped me get the help I needed to become better. There is freedom on the other side, and God can get you through it and heal you. I have been able to share with a mother whose daughter went through it, and just me sharing my story, she was able to understand what her daughter's been going through. It's super humbling that God would give me this chance to help people. It's a gift from him. And it's super humbling, and I'm very honored to be able to share what I went through so that I can help others. I'm Jane Strickland. I'm an adult survivor of childhood sexual abuse, and this is my story.